He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Attention, citizens of fair Gotham, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the show that is here to make our listeners understand. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I am, with insanely tense facial muscles, your co-host, Niall McGowan.
That sounds vaguely erotic. I don't know why.
This minute is vaguely erotic, if you ask me, but... Then again, everything is. If you want to make it, could you interpret this as being vaguely erotic? Like, give me 2 seconds. Yeah, you could. I think you could.
This is known as an erotic podcast. We are like the 50 Shades of podcasting.
Well, as we also know at this point that Joel Schumacher was midway through his sleeping with 200,000 people, apparently. So I guess everything is supposed to be infused with sex somehow.
Oh my God, yes, I forgot all about that. But anyway, yes, hello, we are joined once again by our very special guest, Clarisse Loughrey.
Hi.
I didn't say it Clarisse like you wanted me to.
Yeah, I just need to change my name.
We are allegedly looking at minute 17. The minute starts with absolute heartbreak, and it ends with Bruce Wayne breaking the speed of light.
I should also apologize, Clarisse, too, because it might have been the end of last minute must have been very familiar to you when I was, asking you on as a guest, and you're like, oh yeah, maybe, and I was like, oh, that's not gonna be good for me.
No,
that's my etiquette with every guest now, is to grab them by the arm.
That's how we get all the guests.
Yeah, it was every single one of them from day one. I was like, it could have worked for Edward Nygma if he was just more persistent.
That's why next week we have Michael Keaton joining us in the studio.
Hey.
Incredible.
Yeah, I would have loved. We really should keep asking Robert Wool, just because we almost got him off of the first one. But I was like, no, you're not in forever, Robert. But I would love to know your thoughts on it.
Yeah, he was really interested for all of a week.
Yeah. I'm worried now, though. He's on his way up. He's going to be on Crisis on Infinite Earths, so he's going to be like, I'm Big Shot again. It's like, it'll be a while before we're able to, go and get the... You'll be like, oh, me and Michael Keaton are going to be rubbing elbows at the Oscar parties again. And it's like, well, good luck to you, Knox.
Well, who's putting more hours in the DC world? Us, damn it.
Yeah, we should be friggin' on... Was it HBO Now is doing all the DC stuff? That's the big announcement this week. So we should be getting HBO money, frankly, over here.
Yes, HBO, get in touch.
They canceled that Game of Thrones show with Naomi Watts.
To fund a Batminute show.
Yeah, live action Batminute podcast.
Send you guys her paycheck specifically.
Exactly.
Stealing from the hands of Naomi Watts.
I feel awful. I love Naomi Watts.
Oh, yeah.
She is. I love her so much. Oh, Mulholland Drive.
And best friends with Nicole Kidman.
Oh, yeah.
Who is the star of Batman Forever.
Everything's connected.
Ding, 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 ding.
Woo. And speaking of Batman, we are back here as Bruce breaks the news to Nygma that he's not going to fund it, which I think was always what he was going to do. Even if they arranged this meeting and thing, that was just to shut him up, wasn't it?
The thing is, I do think Edward's persistence is because he knows, call my assistant Margaret and she'll set something up.
She won't.
That's just fobbing you off.
Yeah.
But I actually do think that Bruce might have been because we do see later on he is considerate of his employees and stuff. There's a moment
this is
where
a brainwave manipulator designed by a guy who's insisting it gets funded right now. No.
I would imagine what he was planning to do was he would get Margaret to set something up, and then he would send somebody who's not Bruce Wayne to deal with it. Basically, he would have got much like George Clooney in Up in the Air, where he has to go around firing people. He would have sent Val Kilmer would have sent George Clooney to, and then George Clooney would work his way up through Wayne Tech to become the new Batman at the end of the whole saga. But yeah, he would have sent somebody else basically to go. Yeah, this is not going to happen because mind manipulation is insane. Something you can't do that. It's ethically just all over the place.
Also, you're just very creepy. I feel like even if this guy was proposing like a new mouse pad, I'd be like, I'm good. Whatever you're selling, I don't want a part of it.
Yep. I don't want anything. My favorite thing in the world, ice cream, right? I'm not buying his ice cream. Screw you. No.
There's something bad about whatever he's selling.
Not happy with it.
But there's one thing actually, and because at least in this though, Bruce is very frank and is like, okay, well, I'm sorry, Ed, then the answer is no. Because it's just like, oh, it's just mind manipulation is just, it is like in terms of like safety and in terms of ethics. If you're introducing mind manipulation technology, like where the hell is that going to stop? Like that is like leading into supervillain stuff.
It is 100%. And I almost called him Batman. That's uncovering his identity.
Two completely different people, John.
People. Bruce, when you hear mind manipulation, raise too many questions, right? Does he mean ethically, or is this too subtle of a control technique for our bats? We know from other movies Batman is quite a controlling figure, especially in the Nolan verse.
Maybe he just wants it like, well, I don't want you being able to manipulate minds. Maybe if I came up with this, then this will be fine.
Because I would use it for good.
Yeah. But because it is in the same vein of like Morgan Freeman been able to tap into everybody's phone and stuff, and then him taking on the Val Kilmer role, like, this is wrong. You can't do this.
I do like the way they approach it in that movie because it is wrong. It is messed up. And they deal with it quite well. He's like, right, I need it this once only. I'll never use it again. Honest.
Well, that's the thing, though, because if there had been more movies with, like, the Joker and stuff, maybe it's like, all right, this one time, okay, and the other time, okay?
Yeah,
like,
I really need it one more time.
The thing is, like, that's always the thing with Batman, though, because I wonder in terms of, like, comic book Batman, I don't know if he would have as much a problem with the whole phone tapping thing, because, like, it's almost like a joke now in Batman comics, whether it's like, well, he has information on absolutely everybody, and he has ways of tapping into everything, and he has, like, there is no boundaries for Batman. So, like, he has fail-safes for the Justice League in case he needs to be able to defeat the Justice League at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
He's got that loaded and ready. So I don't think that, like, classically Batman would be kind of like, you'd almost think maybe his assistant, his thing with Margaret would be like, yeah, maybe I can take advantage of this guy's mind manipulation technology and then phase him out of it somehow.
Yeah, I don't think Batman is a good person. I think the movies kind of fail when they try to make him a good person. I think like you just have to embrace that he is some authoritarian like control, and I think you even see that in this clip. I always like get really struck by how sort of fascisty all the imagery is around Batman when he strides into his office and it's like the Imperial March is striking up. It's like
and there's statues.
Yeah, like this is not a man to be trusted. Like, this is not a good person. I mean, we need him because he gets the job done, but like, I don't want to hang out with Batman. I don't want to talk to Batman. I want nothing to do with Batman. But like,
I do kind of
too much of a Mussolini aesthetic put through an Art Deco filter, I think.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to see an overdub of this scene now of Bruce Wayne saying, like, I hope so, Commander, for your sake. The Emperor is not as forgiving as I am. And then marching off and then... Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, that's one of my favorite moments in film, the delivery of that line, and then what that makes you think in your mind, like, but this guy's crazy. How crazy is the Emperor?
I do. I think that you're actually spot on, though, Clarisse, as well. So I'm trying to remember which comic it is, but there is a comic book where Batman flat out says, like, I am not a good person. Like, he's fully aware, like, I'm trying to do the best, but, like, I myself, I think it might even be Dark Knight Returns, where he's just like, I'm not a good guy. Like, Superman is a good guy.
Yourself.
I am not a good guy. I think it's when he's fighting Superman. He's just like, oh, yeah, you'll do the ethical thing, and you'll try to win this even-handedly, where I'm not a good guy, and I will cheat to beat you and stuff. But there's one thing, though, I think it would have really made the scene for me, because this is like, oh, it's serving its purpose and whatnot. He's just like, okay, yeah, you put me on the spot, so I'm rejecting your idea. But there's a thing in the novelization that I felt was like, it added a whole other tinge to this, because in that novelization, it's, the first time we see Edward Nygma is in a flashback to his childhood when he is bullied and then has his head cracked and he goes into a coma. And in the same day, he sees like it's the day that Bruce Wayne's parents have been murdered. And he sees this in the newspaper and he's like, oh, this kid's not grieving. He's angry. He's got determination. He's like me. Like he's, I could be like this kid. Like he's got all the opportunity, but I've got the smarts. And maybe if we became friends and all this sort of stuff, like, we're two of a kind and all this kind of stuff. And then it's become apparent in the novelization later on in Nygma's little shrine he has to Bruce Wayne. He still has that clipping of Bruce Wayne as a child after his parents were murdered. That's it. That's the centerpiece of his shrine. And then the novelization says, he grabs Bruce's arms and shouted, "No, don't leave me. My invention, I need you." And Bruce was thunderstruck as he was pulled partway into Edward's office, and then he caught sight of the shrine. Edward's head bobbed eagerly, like one of those baseball player statues with a spring head. Now finally Bruce would understand the depth of Nygma's devotion to his idol. He would see how important he was to Nygma, and he stood for so much that Edward wanted to emulate. And then Wayne's gaze zeroed in on the picture of himself as a young man. The eyes of Wayne the Elder locked with Wayne the Younger, and then he slowly turned his scrutiny back to Edward Nygma. Edward could feel the temperature in the room drop to sub-zero. So it's the Bruce Wayne is like, he was trying to get away from this guy, and then he saw that he had a picture of him just after his parents were shot in his office.
That's pretty
and
weird.
That's the moment he goes like, no, I'm not friggin'. Because one thing we know, Bruce Wayne is very, very sensitive about his parents getting murdered.
I wonder why.
And then to be reminded of it in the middle of the day when some creep is trying to pitch you something and he has a picture of you just after your parents were killed in his office, it is going to set you off on a bad path. And it's like, it could be emotionally, that's what he's more saying no out of anger in that moment, because he's like, no, not a goddamn chance, I'm working with you, get away from me kind of thing. That's what he means. Like, that's what's in his, like, well, no, it's too many questions and walking away. Whereas this just seems to be more like, no, I just not got the time to think about this. And if you don't let me set up this meeting with my assistant, then off the cuff, I would say, no, I don't have time.
Which is fair enough.
Mind innovation. So, but I just thought it would have added an interesting element if it was like Bruce Wayne's emotion and his reaction to Edward having the picture of him as a kid was actually what spurned his rejection of him. Rather than just him like, hey, I got a meeting, I gotta go. The bat signal's out there, I gotta go,
I don't know. I think that would raise even more questions, though. You wouldn't be able to let it lie. Then you'd have to pursue it. Like, why the hell have you got this? What are you doing? What's your game?
I feel like it's too weird. I feel like just having a picture of your boss as a child is so weird in itself. Without the murder thing, I feel like this at least feels like a semi-normal reaction, because one of his employees is being a little bit weird, so he's like, let me just fob this off onto my secretary. She can deal with it. Like, this almost seems like a realistic, I can't believe I'm saying the word realistic about Batman Forever, but if you toned it down a little bit, I could see this as a real interaction between a boss and employee. The picture of your boss's child in your office, the boss as a child in your office, is immediately phone the police. You'd
have to, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what crime you've done, but I'm phoning the police. This isn't weird. This is weird.
What else of mine have you got?
Exactly.
Like, if they had done it, would they have used that same picture from 89? Like the one that Vicky and Knox are looking at, like, oh, poor kid, and all that stuff. So that would have been a nice bit of continuity. It's like, it's the same freaking picture that they always have. But
that would be cool. I'd like that.
Well, but I think that added an extra element to me, because, it is creepy. Like, I think that's, like, it adds a more, I mean, you can't really tell because Jim Carrey's very subtle in this movie, but the Riddler's quite deranged.
What? You mean when he says, I'll make you understand? That's deranged?
And there's still people in that lab. So it's not like, usually that situation occurs when everyone has left the room and you're on your own and you get to speak evilly to yourself. That lab was still busy with people, and they all would have turned around and been like, sorry, what?
Again, I'd be calling the police. It'd be like, this guy's going to kill someone.
This man is talking sinisterly to himself.
Yeah. And I'll make you understand. That sounds very violent.
I have to say, like, because Jim Carrey did eventually blossom into a proper actor. But at this point in his career, it seemed like it was more he was famous for being the guy willing to just be like, whoa, like do the crazy over the top stuff.
Yeah, he's the rubber man.
And like Joel Schumacher in the commentary is talking about like, oh, he was so dedicated to this part. Like he would sit up all night in the mirror, pulling every face, making sure he was getting every line with the exact facial expression he wanted and stuff. And I'm thinking he overdid that here because, like, you know, you were supposed to understand. Like, the way he's over-enunciating it. And it seems like his whole face is so controlled and just, like, it doesn't seem natural to me. It seems like this could have been a cool kind of, like, well, not cool moment, a chilling moment, maybe. But it seems more like I'm just preoccupied by, like, why are his cheeks so tense? And why does he look like he's really acting with his tongue? And it's just like, I just feel like he could have, like, you don't have to act every moment, Jim. You can let things come naturally, you know?
He's an actor. Don't you dare tell him what to do.
Yeah,
but no, I agree
This
completely.
is 10 years off, like, Eternal Sunshine. Like, it's night and day between those two performances.
To be fair, though, it depends why they've hired you. As we said, they've hired him to do the Jim Carrey thing. He's given them what they want.
Yeah,
that's what they've asked for.
I imagine that's the direction he got.
Yeah.
Like, he probably asked them and they're like, you know, just make the funny face. And then waved him off.
Yeah, speak like you did in Ace Ventura. That'll be fine.
Yeah, which I feel like is probably quite disheartening for him as an actor, and it's not going to make you want to go away and deliver an Oscar-worthy performance.
No.
I'm just going to go and sit in the mirror and go, right, what are those faces I can do? Oh, this one and this one, but...
And again, to be fair, that is what sold his movies, and that is partly what sold this movie to people. So maybe we're wrong.
Of course, that was the classic, like, you know, the catchphrase of everyone in 1995 was going around saying, "I'll make you understand." That was
the famous line, yes.
Of course, Clarisse was saying it in 2006 when she finally got into Jim Carrey.
Caught up to who Jim Carrey was.
People are like, is that a line from Batman Forever? She's like, yes.
There's actually this scene, before he goes into the office as well, Bruce, I forgot to mention, the Goldsman draft has a tiny, tiny little bit of difference that actually is a bit of foreshadowing that I think's good. Because Bruce says to him, I'm sorry, Edward, just feels a bit like mind manipulation. It raises too many question marks.
Yeah.
Not too many questions. It specifies question marks. They changed it.
That's in every, like, if you go to the comic adaptation, the novelization, always question marks. And it seems like, I think it's more that it's like an awkward mouthful.
Yeah, it's too much as well. It's, yeah.
Also, that doesn't make grammatical sense. It raises too many question marks.
I guess
it's not a real sentence.
Like, I get what it means, but it doesn't sound right, does it? It doesn't
but
flow.
like, no one would say that outside of the context of foreshadowing the creation of the Riddler. I can tell you now that no one in the history of planet Earth has said that and not been foreshadowing the Riddler.
Making that leotard is like, I got some question marks for you. I'll add 10 more.
Oh.
Exactly. Do people like the Riddler? Are they Riddler fans? I feel like that's
the thing is,
specifically,
I don't really get, like, I know there are people out there who are like hardcore into the Riddler as a villain, but I always thought, because like there's charm to certain villains, like the Joker, because he's funny and a lot of the time he's in control and all this, you know, he has this sort of bravado about him, like the comic book Joker and the Jack Nicholson Joker and stuff. You can like, oh, like, I abhor their actions, but I enjoy watching them as a character. But the Riddler always comes across to me, like in most iterations, as like a really smug, like up his own ass prick, and like he just always comes across as a genuinely unpleasant person. So I'm always kind of a bit surprised. Like, I can understand you enjoying the stories of him, but I could never like the character because I just think he is too much of an asshole. But
he's not like that fun as a villain, because it's just like, here's a riddle for you, and like, who cares, dude?
You do just want to punch his smug face thing.
I don't have time for riddles. Who are you?
Maybe this was like the thinking of like the casting people in '94. They're just like, yeah, everybody hates the Riddler. Who we're gonna get to play him? Like that one guy that everybody likes at the minute. Get him in to do it.
I thought you were gonna say, "Who's annoying? Who do we find annoying?"
Or yeah, could have been that as well, actually.
But as we said before, Bruce bids him adieu. He sods off. He says, "Bye, bitch," and walks into his office. And
we'll say actually that because I love plugging I've been watching it so much in recording the show, but like that slow pan into Edward Nygma, that's used very effectively in the video for "Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me." We're like, I love that video now. I've had a renaissance of how much I love that video. But they keep cutting to all these random bits of the Riddler causing chaos, and then cutting back to that same shot, getting closer and closer. This is the moment the Riddler was born. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I see what you did there. But yes, Bruce enters his office, the weird fascist office, and he says, "Chair," sits down. And then flies down a damn slide. It's insane. I love it. It's the right amount of silly, yet it feels right, doesn't it? Because of course he'd have something like this. I want one.
The fact that like it's set off by him saying "chair" seems like I would cause so many problems.
Yeah, if you like just said "chair" any moment.
Yeah, he's just in his office and someone comes in like, "Draw up a chair." Oh, and just he's like,
and then it misinterpret you. My Alexa gets it wrong all the time. I'll just be having a conversation and it'll just be like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't do that." But whoa, what the hell?
Are we sure that it's automatic, or is Alfred sitting there with a button?
Oh my god, that'd be even better. He's just in the corner. "Okay, sir." Jesus.
Yeah, but like seeing Alfred have to do everything else for this guy, I can imagine he is just like, better go wait.
Okay.
He said lock, better lock the door. It's like, there's a lock on the door, don't you, Master Wayne? Just turn it yourself.
Something I don't like, right? I love that he's got a slide that takes him from his office to his Batcave. I was going to say his house.
Like super tube, this thing.
That's the thing. Something I don't like is how absurd the actual tech is when you see it. He's rocketing down the tube at 1 billion miles an hour. Why can't it just be like a slide? And the Batcave's, it just takes you there.
The Batcave could be like 5 miles away. Like he's going to get stuck mid-slide.
It doesn't have to be 5 miles away. Just change it. Who cares? They've changed everything else in the movie.
Yeah. They could just have it be like he's got another bunch of stuff in his office. That's what they do in the comics and stuff. Is just like you just say, all right, change, and like, all the walls will flip and it have all Batman stuff on it and whatnot. But
something like that, because this rocket pod it's too fast. It's insane. It's far too unrealistic for this movie.
Well, we'll also note though, in the office itself, which is a very nice office, but he's got those two guys standing by the door who seemingly are like holding up these weird dome lights, and it's the same thing he had. It's at the top of Wayne Enterprises is the same statue. And the thing is, I'm looking at that, it's like we talked about this, didn't we? Because this is like, remember in Batman Returns, the statue that was in Gotham Square? It's the same damn thing. So it's just like the set designer, but
similar,
like
yeah.
Just like laxing off and like, whatever. They got to use one of the things.
Or you could say this is a symbol of Gotham.
It could be. Because it does look like, I think at the time he said it looks like Atlas, and I guess Batman is a guy with the weight of the world on his shoulders, so it makes sense that Bruce Wayne would have that as the symbol of his company.
Exactly.
Maybe. I don't know. Joel, asking Joel Schumacher, he'd be like, I don't know. I was busy having sex with 200,000 people at the time.
I'm surprised he had time to make this movie.
How many of those people talked about Batman Forever with him?
During or after? Or before?
Yeah, at any point.
I hope it was during. I really hope it was.
It's like somebody brought up Tommy Lee Jones to him and was like, dude, you're killing the vibe. Don't bring up Tommy Lee right now. Come on.
Tell me about the nipples.
Tommy Lee Jones nipple.
Oh, no, I meant Batman's.
All right. Well, it's too late, John. I'm thinking about Tommy Lee Jones's nipples now. You did that.
Now I'm just thinking about Cecil B. Demented, where Michael Shannon's character goes, "Tell me about Mel Gibson's and balls," which we're gonna have to cut out.
Why don't I just add 2 beeps, and then people will be like, well, what did Michael Shannon want to know about Mel Gibson?
Oh, yeah, you'll have to watch the movie to find out. I recommend you do watch the movie anyway.
Yeah.
But we get Alfred talking to Bruce now via Skype, like we are.
Yeah.
Well, it's an Iron Man ripoff, isn't it? Prior to Iron Man.
Yeah. This is Jon Favreau was skulking about taking notes in the set of Batman Forever. Like, if I was ever to make a superhero movie myself, I might just utilize this little thing. Because, yeah, this is in Iron Man. This would be the HUD, I think they called it in that.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, like Tony Stark's face with all the graphics popping up and stuff.
It's very video game, I think.
Yeah. There is also a part of me that is expecting, like, Radiohead to kick in. Like, no surprises, just to start playing, and Bruce, like, water just starts appearing from the bottom of the screen.
That's the other hit single from this movie.
Yeah.
2 weren't enough.
But hey, you threw that Smashing Pumpkin song that was out for Batman and Robin. It was in the same vein.
I love that song. I mean, I'm a huge Smashing Pumpkins fan anyway, so I'm biased. I love that song so much. But
yeah, it's crazy. This is like, yeah, it looks so much. It's so similar. There's no. I don't think I've looked it up. I've Googled it. I don't think anyone's cornered Favreau on it. So, of all the people who are likely to ever meet Jon Favreau on this podcast, I think Clarisse, you're probably the one. So, I feel now you are.
It's actually too late. I've already met him.
Oh my god!
Well, we've got the contact now, so get him on the pod.
You have some question marks. We have some question marks for you.
Question marks.
Do you have him on Skype? Can we bring him in right now? Like,
Add him.
This isn't how film journalism works. I don't have people on Skype.
What are you talking about? That's exactly what it is.
Let me just bring in Kate Blanchett, see what she thinks.
Martin Scorsese's got Jon Favreau on his, so we can send him hate messages.
We can do a big group chat about this tunnel.
The Hollywood WhatsApp.
Scorsese's like, let me tell you why Batman Forever is the greatest movie of the 90s. That is one thing, though, because in the commentary for this, Joel Schumacher just says, like, oh, yeah, so we threw in this little, bat shuttle shooting thing. And he's like, this is just fun. This is just for, like, a bit of, your popcorn movie kind of stuff. But the thing is, it's so similar to me. Like, I couldn't help but think, like, remember in the last movie when Bruce Wayne had the Iron Maiden entrance to the to the Batcave, and it looked really cool and, like, had all the spikes in it, and it was very goth and Tim Burton-y and stuff. And then when we had that minute, there's a whole big interpretation of like, well, this is like some people say because the Iron Maiden is a slow method of torturous death. And you could say this is what Bruce Wayne is inherently doing to himself through becoming Batman, is like it's a slow, painful death of 1,000 stabs where he is dying on his feet, but in a medieval fashion. And that's what the Iron Maiden symbolizes. And that's why they chose this method to go down. That's why they specifically show you the spikes. And we had a whole big thing about it in that minute last season. And then to go from that and then come to like Joel Schumacher literally saying like, yeah, this is just for fun. There's nothing to this. Like, it's just a thing that's in the movie.
Just for fun. What a great explanation.
Just a tube. Just the tube.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Batman have a tube?
It's like people will notice I try to put tubes in all my movies.
It's a motif.
You look at The Client. There's a bit where Tommy Lee Jones goes down a tube. Tigerland. Colin Farrell is fighting people and then he jumps down the tube.
The famous Tigerland tube scene.
Yeah, people were calling Veronica Guerin. Kate Blanchett jumps down a cube. Jump down a cube, jump down the tube. Oh my god!
Down a cube? Are you saying she's in Cube 2, Hypercube? And at the end, she jumps into the little weird portal, leaving the Hypercube.
Didn't we talk about Cube recently? I feel like I talked about Cube quite recently.
I think we spoke about it off air because I have only seen Cube 2, Hypercube.
There was something. Oh no! It's because I was watching Saw 2, and I just kept saying like, "This is exactly like Cube." I think that was my whole thing. Was just like, "Oh, it's to set up the Cube." But
it's basically the same.
That was just a random Facebook post. That it didn't actually have anything meaningful to say. Much like the meaningful things we're saying on the.
Oh, of course, yes. Well, Alfred says something meaningful. He says, "All is ready." Our trusty butler. He's informing us something is ready for Bruce.
Yeah.
The plan is in motion. Whatever that may be. Ooh.
Yeah. But will reveal, John, the thing that this instantly made me think of, and I was wondering, I wonder if John thought the same thing. Seeing this old man in computer graphics face pop up, I was like, oh, it's like Patrick Moore in The Games Master.
Oh my God, I didn't think of that, but now that's all I can see. Holy crap. For our American listeners, which is 90% of our audience, if you don't know Games Master, go and look at it on YouTube, because Patrick Moore hosted a video game. I don't even want to call it a contest. It's kids playing video games.
Explain who Patrick, but Sir Patrick Moore, renowned astrologer, legend in his time, Sir Patrick Moore and stuff. The kid show, which is as you were saying, John,
and he was a big floating head with cybernetics strapped to him for some reason. And he would basically give you cheats for Sonic. And things like that.
There's always small children coming hello, Games Master, how do you beat Tekken 2? And he'd be like, I don't have time to talk about this. And then there get really ugly kids who come on and he insults
ugly kids. They're all ugly.
Yeah, but you get really gangly. You even look at the clips on YouTube now, ooh, that kid's ugly. And then Patrick Moore would just be like, oh dear, you've gone wrong, haven't you?
Oh, look at that one. Jeez.
But do you have many memories of Games Master, Clarisse? Or?
I no, but I am aware that it happened. But it feels like that was what children had when Reddit didn't exist, right? It was just kind of Reddit, but it was a famous astrologist instead of just some other nerd on the other side of the planet helping you.
I know what I would
game.
prefer.
I use Reddit all the time and I hate it, but I use it anyway out of spite.
I wandered in one time. I was like, "Ooh, this is awful," and just wandered back out again.
You've got to be careful which subreddit you go in. You see, you've got to curate your own experience. I think. I'm
assuming also, Clarisse, that you would have sort of on a Ouija board version of Skype access to Sir Patrick Moore himself. That
yes.
you could also
yeah. Let me just boopity boop, and there. Yep. If you just want any cheats for.
Okay.
It's I need a cheat for Crash Bandicoot.
I've forgotten the Konami code. I need to know it, Sir Patrick. I think Patreon special, we should genuinely try and contact him with a Ouija board. I'm not even joking. I think that should be a thing. We could do it on a Friday the 13th. That'd be great.
Yeah. Why not?
People, next time Friday the 13th is coming, someone in the group remind me, and I'll order a Ouija board.
I'll be really terrible if the three of us end up getting haunted by Patrick Moore. And then going on YouTube videos where it's they're trying to tell spooky stories and it's Mr. Nightmare or bedtime stories. And at the foot of my bed I saw this man with a monocle and he was covered in early 90s crappy computer graphics.
I think you'll find state-of-the-art graphics.
And he had a picture of me when I was a small child and he was insulting it.
Well, now that we're talking about Ouija boards and things, we should probably wrap up the episode.
Oh, yeah. I think that's it. Yeah, I don't know. Clarisse, do you have anything else you want to talk about in this minute in particular? Or?
No, it was mostly tube, I feel like. It's not. I have nothing to say about the tube. It was just a tube.
It's totally tubular. I think I was slightly disappointed in going into Wayne's office because I think the last time you were on, Clarisse, we got hung up in talking about the stuffed chihuahua
in Shrek's office.
I miss the stuffed chihuahua.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it would have been great if you went in and Geraldo was there and Bruce Wayne pinched that.
The ultimate Easter egg. I would have loved.
Well, we've seen in other Batman stuff that Bruce, he takes mementos from his cases.
Yeah, no, he's like a friggin' psychopath. It's just I killed Max Shrek. Well, I didn't kill Max Shrek. Selena Kyle killed Max Shrek. But I'm going to steal that chihuahua.
Oh, I really want that chihuahua.
This is deleted scenes of him walking out and been what's this dog about over here? And then Chip Shrek, who's taken over the company, just has the chihuahua went missing or got given to Bruce Wayne. So he's just got Max Shrek's charred corpse stuffed and put up in Geraldo's place.
Bruce is I can't wait to eat that chihuahua.
But tragically, that was only other notes about this scene is that I I think we did. You mentioned off mic, Clarisse, like on the way out, there's a woman who looks like she has purple hair.
Yes, made me think of Admiral Holdo.
Yes.
Last Jedi. Very into purple hair after that, but I'm assuming it's not a reference.
Who knows? Time travel.
Hey, you never know. We were talking. Jon Favreau is there, and I do remember that. I think it was a thing way years ago. I remember hearing Kevin Smith talking about he was brought in to host. Was it Dinner for Five, which is a show Jon Favreau used to host, and he brought in Kevin Smith to guest host it, and he's like, "You get to choose the panel and stuff." And because it was like the early 2000s, so it was just like, I'm going for Mark Hamill because no one's talking about Mark Hamill anymore. And he's like, I'm going J.J. Abrams. I think this kid director on his way up, I think he's pretty clever and stuff. And then he was always like, it's just weird because, like, you know, Jon Favreau's in with Disney. I was in with Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau discovered J.J. Abrams from me having him on Dinner for Five. So it could be that Favreau on the way out, he's just like, I'm going to suggest purple hair lady to Disney 20 years from now on my way up or whatever.
He's going to send an email to Ryan Johnson being like, Batman Forever, minute 17. Thank me later.
I noticed that woman too, because I think it's just the lighting, but she really reminded me at the end, because she's wearing the lab coat and stuff too, at the end of Clockwork Orange, when like Alex is all busted up in the bed, and as that doctor comes in with like not the Rorschach test, but like the sort of thing of like, oh, just say whatever you think about these pictures and stuff. And it's a woman in like a white lab coat, and she's got like purple hair. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's Joel Schumacher's low-key Clockwork Orange thing he's thrown in there.
I think we're reading too much into this purple hair lady.
That's what we're here for.
And the only other note that I had was just that I do like the sinister theremin beginning, as Nygma says, "I'll make you understand," because it's not alluding to the Riddler theme, because the Riddler theme is like, I think it's that dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
But like you do, the
that
box
sounded like Jewel of the Fates. Sorry.
Oh, that's just where John Williams got it from. Everyone's just mining things out of Batman Forever. But there's a lot of theremin later on. I think it's like the box theme. There's a great bit of music that seems to play whenever the box is a big deal. And it's very theremin heavy. So I'm assuming that like, I'll make you understand. And the ominous sounds of the box theme in the background it's a nice bit of foreshadowing. And I love foreshadowing. So
and who doesn't love theremin? It's one of my favorite things in the world.
And it feels like one of the few links back to Tim Burton. Because I feel like there is so little. I always forget that this is meant to take place in the same universe as like a Tim Burton movie. So it's nice to see something.
Clarisse, would you like to remind everyone where they can find you and your work online?
Yes, all my stuff is on Twitter at Clarisse Loughrey or at Clarisse Lou.
Check it out, everybody. And come and speak to us at the Batminute Listeners Cave on Facebook. Come send us a message on Instagram. We post on there as well. That's The Batminute. And we have a website now, thebatminute.com, because batminute.com was taken. And plus, it makes us sound cooler, The Batminute. We're the real ones. If there's any pretenders, screw you. People will know to come to. And go buy a t-shirt on TeePublic. Just look us up. I can't be bothered. The link's massive. You don't get like a direct URL. Sod it. Just go on TeePublic. And we'll see you again on Friday for more Bat Minute Forever.
Next time, sexy signal chicanery. An expedited capsule crashes into the cave, meaning it's once again time to don a cape and crusade. But while Bruce boomerangs back to the city in his ballistic bat conveyance, which cool beguiling ambusher is awaiting another hot entrance? Find out Friday, same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da.